She's saying that's a great pleasure to be back here and to be near to you, see you again, and be in this transcendental place and feel this amazing energy of Srila Maharaj Bhajana Kuti.
I appreciate. Yes. That should be the mood. So a devotional mood befitting to the consciousness of Srila Guru Maharaj temple, Nabadwip Dham. So I appreciate your goodness. Goodness and heart's feelings. Because basically, fundamentally, the nature of the spiritual world, higher spiritual world, divine world, is filled with sincerity and heart's feelings, rather than some logical or some technical ways of seeing the things. Here it is higher heart's feelings, feelings of devotion and devotional taste more appreciated. So, I naturally appreciate your such your goodness and heart's feelings. True. See, after all, we cannot forget that after all we are dealing with the higher spiritual world of relationships. So everything needs to be connected with a spiritual sense. Okay, not merely just material objective sense. Everything needs to be connected with in a spiritual sense, with spiritual view, spiritual sense and taste. Then everything is there. We can discover so much, rising above the material limitations, the limitations of our material plane of existence. So that's what I advise the devotees to relate to everything more spiritually, connect to everything, the world of Krishna consciousness with a divinely spiritual way, rather than trying to find out things in just conventional material ways, objective ways. Because material ways of seeing and feeling into the things are very limited. Very limited. Our spiritual world, the world of spiritual feelings, cannot be properly understood from the material stance of judgments, material stance of considerations. It is so limited. After all, we are dealing with the world in transcendence. Very vast, not just vast, unlimited world in transcendence. So we also need to be relating to that accordingly, with higher spirit, transcendental spirit. At least we should be trying to connect in that way, trying to do that at least. At some point, all our sincere trying, sincere efforts will be translated into successful efforts. All our sincere ways of tryings, all our tryings and making efforts with the best of our sincerity takes the form of success, gets translated into success in different degrees. There are different degrees of success. I often say, therefore, the functions of our sincere trying, making sincere efforts to relate to the Supreme Divine, also included as a part of our sadhana, included in the world of our cultivation of devotional life, sadhana. Sometimes, as we see, certain clever, smart, technical ways of the applications on the plane of this, on the mundane plane, karma works very nicely on this mundane plane. Of course, also honesty, sincerity, truthful ways of behaviors also work nicely, but in many places, rather smart ways, clever, smart ways of the applications, sometimes even cheating involved, works on the mundane plane of exploitations besides sincere ways. But the higher spiritual world, all is just technical, so-called smart, technical ways of the applications, smart, clever way of the applications of the things, not valuated. Okay, it's not, they are not found qualified. In that place, instead of that, full sincerity, full honesty, sincerity, truthful efforts. Truthful efforts with all sincere hearts, feelings are very much valued in the world of higher spirituality, higher divine world. So unlike this mundane plane of applications, and then unlike the types of applications, our nature of applications of our activities based on some clever, smart ways, tactful ways. There may not be always sincerity, honesty, so much. But still it works on this plane, which is a limited plane of exploitation, mundane plane of limitations, exploitations. So besides honest, truthful ways of applications of our life, also some smart, technical, even cheating ways of applications found, because one of the criteria of this plane is full of exploitations. And tactful, clever ways. So these can work here, the limited mundane plane, but these types of application of our life never works on the higher transcendental plane. These are all disqualified. Clever, smart, tricky, tactful ways. They all are disqualified, totally disqualified on the higher spiritual, or even the basic spiritual world, what to speak more of the higher spiritual plane, divine plane. Everything there starting with full honesty, sincerity, truthful hearts, feelings of loving dedication, devotion, devotional faith, loving faith. They are all the real qualifications there. Anything other way around, all disqualified. No access there. Gaur Hari Bol. Therefore, Srila Guru Maharaj very nicely explained by making differentiations between the nature, characters of the limited mundane world and the divine world. Defining this one is more of mundane plane, as more mortal mundane plane, as more the land of exploitation, more with the character of limitations, exploitations, plane of actions and reactions, often through violence. Although there are also facilities, some fortunate facilities also available, fortunate opportunities also available by the kindness of the Supreme Lord, that we can also receive higher treasure, higher wealth, higher spiritual opportunities, even on the mundane plane. But that opportunity is given. That is not the production of the mundane plane. That opportunity, that higher spiritual opportunity, divine opportunity manifests by the kindness, by the merciful grant of Mahaprabhu divine couple. It's given by the mercy of the Supreme Divine, bestowed here. It is not produced from the mundane plane. So it is bestowed. That's how we have to understand. Whatever rare, fortunate, beneficial opportunities we can have, higher spiritual opportunities we can have, even on this mundane plane, to relate to the Supreme Divine, to connect with the Supreme Divine, with the help of their beloved associates, through the sadhu sangha, through the help of the high-class devotee. All are bestowed, given to us, never produced by the mundane plane. But generally commonly the nature of the mundane plane is full of mortality. It is full of mortality, limitations, exploitations, full of birth and death, all the karmas, involving birth, temporary maintenance and annihilation. Again, birth, temporary maintenance and annihilation. Going on and on in a circular way. That's the reality, general character of this mundane world. Birth, maintenance, annihilation. Birth, maintenance, annihilations. All are mortal. Therefore Guru Maharaj called it plane of exploitation, land of exploitation, plane of actions and reactions, plane of mortality, temporary mundane nature. That makes a difference between mundane plane and divine plane. That makes the clear difference between limited mortal plane of mundane existence and the plane of our divine existence, life divine. So this plane is considered for our educations, for gathering our more comparative experiences, and our educations of making differentiations between how good, how extremely good our life divine in relation to the Supreme, their divine couple can be how extremely beneficial and best kind of life, quality of life we have in connection with Supreme Divine in our loving devotional life of devotional service to them, and how disqualified, bad or worse type of this plane of our mundane existence, mortal existence, remaining disconnected with the Supreme Divine. Makes the comparison. So we can have comparative studies, some comparative educations and experience on this plane. That is one of the purposes of the creation of this mundane universe, and we are of our being. One of the purposes of our being coming over here to receive comparative experiences and understand how better and best is the life of Krishna consciousness. How best quality of life we can have in our loving devotional Krishna consciousness in relation to our nectarian love services to the divine couple. For that education, that is one of the purposes for this. So there is utility also. We find some utilities of many things through positive ways, also through positively negative ways. Not negatively negative ways always, but positively negative ways. Utility for our comparative study. Sometimes negative things are also required for our comparative experiences and educations in life. Sometimes when some of the negative experiences or many of the negative experiences or bad, challenging experiences in our lives, while they are utilized in a higher way, then they can be rather educative in our life, like the elite commando trainings, like the nature of the trainings of the elite commandos. Although they have to pass through so painstaking, very hard, most painful trainings, but ultimately it makes them stronger and more powerful to fight with the painstaking things of life. Ultimately, that's the purpose for the elite commando trainings. That's how it is designed, to make the ordinary soldier more strong, much stronger, more powerful, to meet those difficulties, to challenge those difficulties in life and overcome them with superior ability and strength. Therefore they become elite commandos. As it is found on the mundane plane, it is also there are also higher elite commando spiritual trainings also found. So all kinds of taste in our life is not necessarily bad. They are also designed, they can also be meant to make us more strong, more powerful. That's how the great life see it. Ordinarily they are all sin. Oh, they're so negative, painful. Why Krishna is allowing them to happen in my life? Although Krishna is not directly causing them. Okay, Krishna is not directly causing them, but I have become Krishna devotee. Why he is allowing them to happen? Number one, I am not really Krishna devotee yet. That Krishna, I can draw Krishna's attention to intervene for that. And number two, Krishna may also have some purpose of educating me, training me like elite commando. So don't be depressed, don't be disheartened, and still if you go on in your life with unflinching faith in Krishna while passing through the test, still if you go on in life, continue in life with unswerving, unfluctuating, non-fluctuating faith in Krishna, and taking all the difficulties in life also in a nice temperament in relation to Krishna without complaint. That's the meaning explained in the verse Tattenu Kampang Sushamiksamano Bhunjano Evatma Kritanga Vipakam. In that verse, Hridbhagvapu Vir Vidadhan Namaste Jiveto Yo Mukti Pade Bhakti Pade Sadayo Bhag. I am not going into details explanation of the verse, but accepting all that difficulties of life, difficult periods of life as my training period to make me elite commando in the spiritual life, so that I can become stronger, I can be more powerful to defeat those turmoils and great difficulties in life, being more trained, going through. I won't be lost because I am devotee of Krishna. So finally I will be protected. Finally I will remain protected. With that faith, must have that faith in our Supreme Lord Krishna, Supreme Goddess Radhika. Have that non-deviating faith, undeviating faith, non-fluctuating faith, while passing through that elite commando training, spiritual elite commando training. Then at some point all difficulties, turmoils just take leave because the training is complete. Once the training is complete, you do not have to continue life, whole life through elite commando training. It has got an end. And by the time your training is complete, now you discover yourself with more strength and more power. You are no more just an ordinary soldier. You are a soldier now with superior ability and strength and power, so that you can now meet the challenges of turmoil and even overcome that. That's how is seen in the lives of the great devotees. When you look into the lives of the great devotees, in other words, when we look into the great lives, extraordinary great lives, we find their life is not always filled with happiness and success and things are going on very smoothly and peaceful. No. In many of the great lives, in many of the great lives of the higher devotees, we find often a big portion of their life is filled with great difficulties and turmoil. But still they pass through them with victory. They pass through them without succumbing, without collapsing to them, with the superior ability they receive through their sincere prayer to the Supreme Divine, by engaging in their very sincere prayer for the help from the Supreme Divine, and also by deriving some deeper ability from the level of their soul and super soul, deeper spiritual level from their own existence, while engaging in prayer for the help, sending help from the higher plane, higher divine plane from the Supreme Divine. And the help comes also because of their sincerity. So in having the combined help from those, help received from their level of soul and super soul, and help received from above, from the higher plane of divinity. Actually, when they receive the help from the level of super soul, that is none other than the help coming from the higher divine plane, because super soul and Krishna are one and same, basically same tattva. So then they not only survive, they thrive. Those great lives, instead of succumbing or collapsing to the material difficulties or adversities, like ordinary people, they pass through, they rather overcome, and ultimately they receive the victory. They achieve so much victory instead of collapsing. That makes the difference between ordinary life and extraordinary life. Common life and great life. And they are great examples before us. And one of the specialties for the great lives is that they accept all the negative challenges, great challenges of life, great difficulties and adversities of life in an educative way. they even utilize that instead of feeling disappointed and frustrated and pained and lost. They have got some superior ability with the help of the grace of the Lord. They convert that chance, all those things, or they utilize all those things as receiving education from them, what will be working and what will not be working out in life, which will not be working out and which will be working. This is the problem. So what's the solution to this? So they discover more and more solutions on the face of problem instead of being collapsed, subjugated, overpowered by problems. They rather, it is like necessity is the mother of invention. So now they have got the higher necessities to invent further, discover further the ways of solution on the face of problem, rather than becoming diluted and overpowered by the problem without solution. So necessity becomes the mother of invention in their life. Such dynamic, life divine. They set such dynamic, optimistic, realistically optimistic examples. Enthusiastic examples, their life. And they become successful ultimately. Ultimately overpowering all these great difficulties and turmoils of life. And ultimately, they're flying with victory. They're qualified with victorious color. Qualified with glories. Beautified, adorned, decorated with success and glories ultimately. And when you look into the great lives of the great successful pure devotees from the mundane plane, you can find not one or too many of that. And we are required to follow into their examples. They have already set beautiful, very powerful and powerfully beautiful, beneficial examples before us, that if we can do from the ordinary man, ordinary level, if we can become extraordinary, we can receive extraordinary ability, extraordinary success in relation to the Supreme Divine, achieve our life divine, you can also do that. You can also, don't be heartbroken, never become pessimistic, never be hopeless. Let your heart be filled with immortal hope. Hope never dies. Immortal, the hope of immortal character in relation to the immortal reality. That's our prayer. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamoso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mritror Mam Amritang Gamaya. O the Supreme Divine, O my beloved Supreme Divine, beloved Lord, please lead me from untruth towards the truth, from mortality towards the immortality, towards your immortal life divine. Please be leading me from the darkness towards your light divine, from the darkness of ignorance, towards your illuminated world of divine taste and realization. Please lead me from death to deathlessness. So, Supreme Lord, I repeat, please lead me from untruth towards the truth, from mortality towards your immortal nectarine life, from darkness of ignorance towards the world of illumination, enlightened world. Lead me from death to deathless life, deathless nectarian life. Yes. So these prayers, these principles are not just something to be theoretically understood. They are all practically applied, and so much divine success achieved through such principles. They are not just ideals, but they are reals. These principles not just ideals, not to be understood only as ideals, but practically applied realities. And that's what the great lives did. Practically applied, became victorious. They were decorated with so much success. So they give us this message. If we can do from the ordinary mundane plane, if we can be receiving success in this way, through temporary failures, passing through temporary failures, if we can achieve such immortal success, divine, you can also do it. It is quite possible. Never become disheartened, never become hopeless. Be optimistic. Be filled with hope, immortal hope. And you have got a lot of ground to have that immortal hope. Because it is a reality. It is realistic. You have a lot of realistic ground to have your heart filled with immortal hopes, hoping against hope, filled with immortal nectarian hopes of life. Because you can actually achieve it through your dedication, by meaning to dedicate to achieve that cause. You can have it. So back to the point. So there is some purpose of our being on the mundane plane, to receive educations and comparative experiences. And by the grace of the Lord, you can also receive some opportunities, even some special opportunities to cultivate our higher spiritual life, life divine in relation to the Supreme Divine. So that is the very plus point, even on the mundane plane. It's the mixture, mundane plane is the mixture of well and woe, pains and pleasure, negative and positive. There are also, besides the negative sides, there are also positive opportunities. Although there is not a lot of positive opportunities, we have to find it out. But still, it is there. But percentage is that it's mundane. Mundane, by quantity, by amount, we find the mundane, the mundane actions and reactions, by quantity, by amount, the mundane actions and reactions, mundane nature, mundane ways of activities, law of karma, more prevalent on this plane, rather than higher spiritual laws and spiritual characters and natures and samskara. It is true. So by majority of the portion, we find it is subdued by the mundane effects and activities. Therefore it is called a plane of exploitation, plane of mortality, exploitation. Because everyone is living, more or less everybody is living their life at the cost of something, others here. Unlike the divine plane of existence, the character of divine plane of existence opposed to this. They are not exploiting each other, but they live their life by benefiting each other, helping each other, benefiting each other, by promoting each other in love divine, divine love of God, divine love of divine couple. Everybody is helping each other. Everybody is so happy. Instead of exploiting each other, they're so happy, lovingly devoting for each other in relation to the divine couple. Just opposed to the mundane nature. That's what the Guru Maharaj nicely explained. Plane of exploitation and plane of dedication, higher dedication. Plane of higher devotion in relation to the supreme divine couple, Mahaprabhu. See, I just spontaneously felt like explaining this. Because we need to understand some very basic things of our spiritual life, or how to develop. Instead of, as soon as we are faced with some mundane difficulties and challenges of life, we should not let ourselves just easily becoming subjugated or subdued by that, and easily allowing ourselves to be heartbroken. No. Say no to that. Be divine elite commandos. Face the challenges with superior ability and faith in the superior faith in the Lord, and find out the ways of the solutions. It will be there, and at some point that training period will be over.
This is a long time, yeah.
Sometimes it can be short time, sometimes it can be long time. But as long as the devotees go on, continue their life with full faith in Lord during the time of test, their ultimate result is very good. Ultimate result is not failure, it is success and success. Although temporary failures are there before achieving the success, for example, the big successful men on this mundane plane. It's not that they began their life through success and success without experience of failure. Never like that. In order to achieve the great success in their life, they also had to pass through experiences of failures, different times of life. But still they did not lose hope. They did not give up. They found out the ways or made the ways. Somehow they managed to find out the ways or made the ways without losing heart. And they paved the ways and found the success. Ultimately they became successful. And all those temporary experiences of failures in their life became now ornamental history, and the sweet success is achieved through so much sacrifice or failure. So they also understand the value of that success through comparative experience. Sometimes if the success is achieved very cheap way, sometimes or often if success in our lives are available in a very ordinary, common, easy way, we do not understand the real value of that success. But when the success is hard earned, then we truly understand the value. We truly know how to appreciate that success in a proper way. Especially the divine success I'm talking about. Higher spiritual success, divine success. So therefore, in some way comparative experiences are required. So that we can truly appreciate a higher success of life in a true sense. We don't just take it taken for granted in a casual way because we are all given. When success are received just in a very ordinary, common, easy way, very easy way, we do not really know how to value, understand it. Similarly, in our higher spiritual life divine, when some success is received through some dedications, good sacrifices of life, then we know its real value. we know its real value, high value. Just like that, our Guru Maharaj, Guru Varga explained. Just as that. See, we are given this life. Our life is not created by us. Our lives are created by the Supreme Creator, is granted. Practically we are given everything. Whatever even we are trying to do in relation to the Lord, also we are doing it by given ability. By some abilities given by the Lord. See? Because we do not have any control over the creation of our own lives. Or to speak of controlling the environment and the universe. We do not have even control over our life creation, life maintenance or annihilation. And whatever control we can have, now also given. That ability of controlling also given. So it's all relative. We understand. The fact is that Supreme Lord, the all-pervading superpower Parang Brahma, the Supreme Creator, the Supreme Creator of the infinite universe. See, I repeat, the very fact is that, reality is that the amount of things by quantity and quality of the things Supreme Creator has given us, kindly granted us in our life to live our life happily, properly. So He has done so much. He has done so much good. He has done so much in so many ways so that we can live our life. But compared to that, how much we have done, how much service we have really done in relation to the Supreme Lord out of gratitude, very less. If we really calculate, try to understand the amount, the quantity and quality of the favor we have been given by the Supreme Creator in our lives in so many ways. Given. And through that, by that, we are able to continue, maintain our life, live our life. Compared to that, how much He has given, She has given, how much we are doing, how much we have given to Him as our service. Very minute, almost nothing. See, this is the reality. We know our whole life is controlled by the higher laws of the creation, and that is not created by us. Rather, we are created within that. And whatever way we are trying to relate to the Lord, trying to serve our Lord, also by the given abilities, by the abilities given by the Lord, and that is the reality. Bare reality like broad daylight. Therefore, high-class devotees never become proud. They have natural humility. Upon understanding the fact, reality, they never become proud. Even if they do so much service to the Lord, they say, you have given me so much, my Lord. You have mercifully granted me so much. What can I do to you? Compared to that, almost nothing. Even if they are doing so much service to the Lord, the high-class devotees, but they have so much humility. So, that is the reality. Therefore, arti is required. Lord Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita, one of the beautiful verses, Chaturvidha bhajante mang jana sukriti arjuna arto jignasu artharthi gyani cha bharatar sabha chaturbidha bhajante mang jana sukriti na arjuna. This might be one of your favorite verses. Okay. Krishna practically explained these four categories of humans, four classes of humans actually engage in worshipping me, engage in my bhajana. First one, artha, due to affliction, by facing, they remember me when they are faced with great difficulties of life. They really want help from me, then they remember me. They want to engage in remembering me and worshipping me, artha. Then jignasu, somebody who is greatly curious, inquisitive to know about this whole universe, whole truth, infinite truth. They want to acquire so much knowledge, so much curiosity. So then, out of their great curiosity and inquisitiveness, they want to connect with me. Jignasu, artharthi. Other category, they want so much name, fame, wealth, mundane wealth. They want me to bless them with so much mundane wealth, name, fame, and pray to me if I could fulfill their mundane desires and engage in prayer, not praying to relate to me, not praying for loving me or devoting unto me, but they want to satisfy their own selfish mundane desire and want to make use of me to satisfy their own selfish mundane desire. And therefore they engage to relate with me. They try to relate with me some prayers, sakama bhakti. It's called sakama bhakti. They are having some bhakti for me, full of others of fleeting mundane desires. So they are respecting me, having some devotional mood to me, but is conditioned by their fulfilling mundane desire. It's not unconditional love for me, not unconditional love for me, unconditional love service to me. Artharthi. Then other category is gyani, those who want to enter into the world of higher wisdom, more than calculative mundane knowledge, but higher wisdom about me, the supreme, all-pervading Parang Brahma, super soul, super power, all-pervading, omniscient, omnipresent, super power behind this universal creation, maintenance, destruction. They want to know more about me and become jnani and want to feel, not only want to know about me through their knowledge, through their intellectual ability, but through their higher meditations of consciousness, and they want to become immersed, they want to be one with me, with my consciousness, with my omniscience, omnipresence, my existence as all-pervading, infinite superpower. The Gyanis want to have that knowledge and realization of me, and then they want to merge in me. Therefore, Gyanis also want to relate with me. So this way, these four categories of the people actually come to connect with me, relate with me. So, now we have to think which category we belong to. Sometimes many of us belonging to all four categories, not in one category, belonging to all these four categories more or less. Some category is more prominent, some is more less prominent, but all categories are involved. In some, one of the categories is very prominent. although other categories are there little by in some way, but one of the categories is prominent. So artha, out of all these categories, the category of the artha works better for the devotees. Artha, artha jiggasu arthati gyani cha bharatarshava. See, when someone is faced with great danger, great difficulties, turmoil of life, and the intensity of the feelings, they pray for the help from the Supreme Divine. With the intensity of humility and prayer and feelings of dedication, they want to relate to the Supreme Divine. It doesn't happen in other categories so much. Well, artha means when someone is in great need of receiving, in the crying need of receiving help to survive in life. That is called artha stage. So, I repeat, when one finds himself in the crying need of help, desperate need of help from the Supreme Lord for surviving in the life, then so much crying devotional mood comes, temperament comes at that time, which doesn't come in other categories so much. It is called artha. So much humility and devotion comes to the Lord. Like I'm taking your shelter, my Lord. Please protect me. Please protect me, nurture me. Please guide me, nurture me. I am surrendering to you. I am taking your full shelter, taking your refuge. I cannot take care of myself. Even myself also belonging to you. It's yours, my Lord. Please take care. I lovingly surrender. That happens on the artha level. With all humility and yearning. With all humility and yearning. Yearning to receive help from the Lord, mercy from the Lord, merciful grant from the Lord with humility. This is very good, helpful stage of a devotee's life. Compared to the other categories, I have some curiosity, I just want to satisfy my curiosity or inquisitiveness to know about the Supreme Lord, absolute infinite, about Parama Brahma. I want to have more knowledge, or I want to become one through Jnanam. So they are also beneficial, fruitful, but more intensely, which works more intensely and very practically, greatly, is the stage of the artha. Therefore, you can find in the world of the higher devotion, in the world of the higher spiritual cultivation, devotional cultivation of life, you find so many beautiful and meaningful devotional songs, full of arti, full of humility and humble hankering, humble yearning, humble prayer to the Lord in loving devotion, without any false pride, with humility. Okay. That helps us a lot. Because there some pride could be involved in other categories of approaching the Lord, other categories of trying to connect to the Lord. Jiggasu, artharthi, gyani, some sort of undue satisfaction, undeserving satisfaction of pride can be involved in other categories. But such is not such undue, undeserving satisfaction, unqualified satisfaction is not found on the plane of arti, in the category of the arti, because there is so much yearning, incessant, unending yearning and hankering for the nectarine love relation with the Supreme Lord, nectarine attainment in relation to the Supreme Ambrosial Divine. And also, because of so much yearning, hankering for the nectarine achievement, also reception, attainment also becomes like that, accordingly, without any undue, unqualifying, I repeat this, unqualifying satisfaction, like, oh, I am satisfied. They say, I am not satisfied. In spite of having so much satisfaction, still the hearts of the pure devotees remain unsatisfied. It's called positive unsatisfaction, not negative unsatisfaction. The more you are thirsty, the more you have opportunity to drink and taste nectar. When your thirst is completely, as soon as your thirst is completely quenched, satisfied, you may not have the taste of relishing the nectar accordingly, because your thirst is quenched. So therefore, this is called positive dissatisfaction. To have more satisfaction, unlike negative dissatisfaction. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. I put it flight mode. So back to the point. Artojigashurartharthi gyani cha bharatarshabha chaturvidha bhajante mang jana sukritino arjuna. So these four ways, four categories also connected with Sakama Bhakti and Niskama Bhakti described in Bhagavad Gita or other holy scriptures. But the category, the specific category, the arti, connecting with the Supreme Divine through the stage category of arti, actually takes one ultimately to Niskama Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. Because that brings the highest nectarine attainment or nectarine fulfillment of life compared to the other categories of the people, persons approaching to the Supreme Lord. Ultimately, they have to have the arti. Arti means humble, the innermost hankering to be more and more engaged in love services to divine couple. That is called arti, with humility. With humility. Sometimes it's a painful way of prayer. It's a painful, loving way of offering prayers to the Lord with hankering, instead of satisfied, loving ways. But it's more positively painful, loving hankering to receive more mercy, more loving service to the Supreme Lord, rather than limited satisfactions. Arti. And ultimately that meets the point of Niskama Prema, the love of the life of love for Krishna, life of loving dedication for Krishna Radhika, the Supreme Divine, for their pleasure, for the sake of their pleasure, giving enjoyment to them. And the more I can please them, in return I am also so much pleased. I also receive so much pleasure by pleasing them. But it's not a selfishly oriented love relation. It is loving them for the sake of loving them only, for the sake of giving pleasure to them through my love service, not for my own selfish pleasure of enjoyment, but by giving, the more we supply pleasure, the more we create pleasure to them, produce pleasure to them through my love service, the more I also receive. In return, I also receive so much pleasure. That's how I get fulfilled. Not a selfish way, but through the ways of devotion. The devotee, pure devotee, receive so much, they become so much enriched with the divine pleasure, divine bliss, nectarian bliss. But they receive it in devotional path, devotional means, not by selfish means. See, like we find in the mundane world, we become enjoyer and we want to receive all pleasure, everything achieved as being enjoyer. Here it is just opposite. Here we are dedicated. We are being enjoyed by the divine couple. The more we become enjoyed and our service become enjoyed by them, the more enjoyment we receive in our life. That's how we receive the nectarine, transcendently nectarine enjoyment, pleasure in our life through their pleasure. It comes, and that is to the infinite, to the endlessness. As if that is their pleasure coming in my heart. It's not my pleasure. Pleasure from their heart, pleasure from being pleased, pleasure of the divine couple, their own pleasure, which is caused by my love service to them, now coming, returning to me through sambandha jnana, through their love, through close love relationships, and it is so much unending bliss, unending nectarine bliss, which cannot be received through calculative way when I become enjoyer, and being enjoyer I want to receive something in return, a business transaction. Never. That is limited. That experience remains very limited. That's not the real devotional divine pleasure. Therefore, Srila Siddhar Swami Pad explained it so beautifully. The real way, the real temperament, real way of rendering devotional service to divine couple. He said, Adau arpita paschat kriyeta. Adau arpita. That before, Siddhar Swami Pad explained, Adau arpita paschat kriyeta. Before you engage in any service activities for the Lord, first of all, you just offer yourself unconditionally. You have this attitude, not just attitude. You must have this temperament, that pure attitude, pure feelings, that you fully belong to the Supreme Lord. First of all, you simply and try to holistically offer yourself, dedicate yourself to the Supreme Lord, theoretically on principle, with all your intention, or in principle, through all your intention, at least you try to offer yourself everything to the Supreme Lord, be belonging to Supreme Lord. And then do everything, being situated in that consciousness, in that temperament, in that feelings, you do everything to the Lord, then whatever you do, it cannot but be service. Because you have already got the mood, you are already situated in the temperament and the mood that you fully belong to your Divine Master, your Lord. So then whatever you are doing, any action you are doing in relation to the Lord cannot but be service. Because you are doing everything by belonging to Him, belonging to her. You are not doing anything remaining separate and enjoyer, and I am favoring you. Instead of that, you should also favor me. Business, give and take. No such attitude. Unconditional, offering first. Offering yourself first in unconditional love, dedication, loving dedication. Being situated in that stand, that level of consciousness, then you do everything for Him. It will all become pure devotional service. Whatever you do, being situated in that consciousness cannot but become the service to the Lord. No more karma, no more ordinary karma, but service. Sambandha jnana. We need to be deeply situated and established in that kind of sambandha jnana, filled with spirit of dedication. At least sincere effort of dedication. If we cannot do it immediately, it's true. At least making sincere effort to the best of my ability to have that. Beautiful. Sridhar Swamipad beautifully explained, and Guru Maharaj, thereafter Guru Maharaj beautifully explained this about the same reality. Ado arpito, first of all, try to dedicate yourself, offer yourself, give yourself to the divine couple. In principle, all through your feeling, thinking, willing, with the best of your sincerity, give yourself. Be situated in that state, and then do everything for them. You are doing devotional service. Each and every activity you are doing in relation to them, being situated on that state, cannot but be service. Because you are doing everything as a pure devotee at that time, no more as an ordinary person. Ado arpita. First of all, you offer yourself, and paschat creator. Then you do things for Lord. Then engage in activities in relation to the Lord. দৈন্য আত্মনিবেদন গোপ্তৃত্বে বরণ অবশ্য রক্ষিবেন কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বাস পালন. Srila Bhakti Nandan Thakur explaining the same reality in that song. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu jive daya kori sapar sadoshiya dham saho avatari ottanto durlabha prem koribare dan shikhaye saranagati bhakotera pran. In that way, one of the portion is there. Dvainna Atma, while explaining the definition of the signs of Saranagati. Dvainna Atma Nivedan Goptritte Baran Avashya Rakhiben Krishna Vishwasa Palan Bhakti Anukula Matra Karje Roshikar Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjanangikar Saranga Saranagati Hoibe Jaha Tahar Prarthana Shune Srinanda Kumar. One, so you can find out the translation from that song. It is a famously known song, well-known song. Then lastly, Bhakti Nandan was saying in conclusion, one who can have the qualification of the 6 limbs of Saranagati in life, Nandan Krishna listens to all his or her prayers. Those devotees become qualified to attract the attention of Lord of Nandan Krishna And Krishna listens, Nandana Krishna listens to his or her prayer. One who has got this Sharanagati, love surrender, love dedication, following the 6 limbs. Daina. First of all, firstly starting with Daina, means humility with devotional hankering, that is called Daina. Arti is the another name of the Daina. Daina and Arti, they are very closely related to each other. Because here Daina not just only means, I repeat, here the term Daina not just means only humility, but it is humility caused by further yearning, hankering, begging. When you really want something, you really mean to be hankering after something desperately, you naturally become humble. You naturally have humility. You cannot be claiming, then it will go away from you. You cannot. You are begging. So, therefore, humility is connected with natural hankering, loving hankering, desperate loving hankering and yearning. This is called arti. In many of the devotional songs, you can find some titles like Arti Nivedan, Atma Nivedan. Their arti means humility and intense yearning and hankering, both combined. Arti. Daina and arti. So, when one has that, then it becomes easy to have self-surrender, love surrender, Atma Nivedana. Automatically happen when you have that hankering, intense hankering with humility. You cannot but offer yourself to the Lord. You cannot but be fully belonging to the Lord. Cannot but be. And then on the higher stage of fulfillment, of becoming fully belonging to the Lord, there you can lovingly claim Lord to be belonging to you. First, Ami to Tomar. The first stage is Ami to Tomar. Oh my beloved Lord, I am fully belonging to you. And then on the ultimate stage, we have the qualification of loving claim through love dedication. You are my beloved. You cannot but be belonging to me also. On the highest stage of the Sambandha Jnanam, highest super excellent stage of the Sambandha Jnanam, not only I am belonging to you, you are also belonging to me as my beloved. A beloved, supreme beloved cannot stay separate way. There has to be mutual reciprocation of the love relationship between as the beloved Lord and beloved servitor. They cannot really remain separate from each other, because you are none other than my beloved Master, beloved Lord, and I am none other than your beloved servitor. So, Achinta Bheda Bhed. Then the inseparable, simultaneously, inseparably, simultaneously one and distinct character of mutual love relationship with reciprocation, mutually reciprocative love relationship appears, manifests between this supreme beloved Lord and the high class beloved servitor. So, in inconceivable way, the simultaneous flow of oneness and distinctions in love relationship in love relation, holistic love relationship to the Supreme Divine manifests. That of simultaneously distinct and one characteristics, both ways. Ultimately it's inconceivable, it cannot be fully comprehended how it happens. Only absolute mind can fully comprehend. We cannot, devotees cannot do that. But still, that is the reality. That is the reality. Amito Tomar. So first of all, I am fully belonging to you. I am fully owned by you. I repeat, oh Lord, I am fully owned by you through my love dedication. And then thereafter, the highest stage, you are also belonging to me as my supreme beloved. As my supreme beloved Master and Lord, you also belonging to me. You cannot avoid that you are also owned by me to some extent according to my qualification. Not only I am owned by you, you are also owned by me as my beloved Lord, to accept more and more and more of my love service to you. That's how I also own you. To serve you more, my Lord. To serve you more. To offer you more devotional service to you. You are also owned by me. That's the stage of highest fulfillment. Stage of highest, complete ambrosial fulfillment of life. Advaya Jnana Brajendra Nandana Krishna. Ambrosial conception. It is the super excellent, ambrosial, super fulfilling, all fulfilling conception of our Sambandha Jnana, love relationship with the divine couple. Between divine couple, us. Between Mahaprabhu, us. So, Atmanivedanam is so closely connected with the humility, feelings of humility, with loving hankering. To receive more grace, more love services, more mercy and more love services to the divine couple. And real Atmanivedana will manifest. True Atmanivedana cannot but manifest. So sometimes when we find ourselves, even temporarily we find ourselves in difficult situation or in some crying need of our life, then we take more shelter. We remember of the Supreme Lord more, and we want to take more refuge of the Supreme Lord. Being helpless, feeling helpless, hopeless, try to embrace Lord's shelter more. So then it works in a friendly way, not just in an unfriendly way always. For the karmi people, those who are not in touch with Krishna consciousness, they will be hopeless, helpless, at a loss. But for the devotees who have been even a little bit enlightened with Krishna consciousness, this can work in a positive way for them, for the devotees, making them embracing the lotus feet of the Lord more, embracing Lord's shelter, refuge more, in helplessness, remembering about the Lord more, being absorbed about the thought of Lord more, praying for the help. And that it works It works in the lives of the devotees, and we have also experienced that. Myself has experienced. I am talking from my own experience and realizations. And at the phase of great difficulties in life, took full shelter, tried to took full shelter of the Lord. My Guru Maharaj, Supreme Lord, I am at your hand. It's up to you how you are going to take care of me. By and by, the difficulties are gone away by some mystical divine intervention. Some mystical ways of the divine intervention we felt. All those difficulties, turmoil just went away, vanished. Sometimes all of a sudden, sometimes step by step, gradually. They all went away. Again life became happy, peaceful, following the character of the great lives. Character of the great lives are like that. They become faced with a lot of difficulties, adversities. As soon as they take full refuge, shelter, at some point they all take leave. Difficulties and all turmoil, they just take leave by some mysterious ways of divine interventions. But kind interventions, gracious interventions from the Supreme Divine. And they go away. That is the experience of the great lives also. But being properly situated in relation to the Supreme Divine is required. Being situated, properly situated in proper consciousness is required. So, Aarti. And I'm talking from my own experience and realizations, Sometimes, I tell you from my own experience, sometimes I feel physically sick. This is mundane world, we're living on the mundane plane of existence. There will be some mundane affection time to time. We have got some material body. The nature of our biological body is also mixture of spirit and matter. It has got material aspect, also spiritual aspect, both in our body. So when the material aspect of our mundane body, my mundane body, creates some difficulties, so I'm feeling very tired, exhausted, or some sort of bodily weakness, or even sickness. But I have to engage. At that point I have to engage in some high-class services to the Supreme Lord. And I pray for the help. Lord, I need to take care of this very, very special service. But my body is not permitting so much. So please, give me extra energy. Help me with some extra energy so that I feel fresh and be more invigorated with energy. And by it happens. Within few minutes or within an hour or so, I find I'm so fresh, feeling so fresh, energetic, all sickness gone away. I'm full of energy without taking any medicine. Without taking any medicine or anything. Sometimes I take the help of some medicine, other times I don't take anything. It's just happening on its own. But I understand it's not just happening by my own biological constitution. Something it is blessed, is being blessed.
Mercy.
Blessed by mercy from above. Listening to my prayer in a cute way, Supreme Lord. And I feel elated with so much higher energy. So much higher energy, excellent energy. Opposed to what I was feeling before sometimes. I feel it. Where from it's coming? From higher divine plane is coming. I realistically experience it directly, not theoretically, practically. So I know through my own experience how it is. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. World of divine realizations, world of divine self-realizations, and our divine self-realization in relation to God realization, and in relation to how we offer love services to the Supreme God is vast, infinite, infinitely mystical and ambrosial character. It's of infinitely mystical, mysteriously ambrosial character and taste. To the limitlessness. We cannot forget, after all, we are dealing with that infinite world. Not just highly objective world, but highly subjective world, and that of ambrosially super subjective divine world, in the language of Guru Maharaj, to relate to Krishna, to relate to Srimati Radhika. So, this is what we are dealing with. Ambrosial treasure, our ambrosial truth of life we are dealing with. Fulfilling the absolute truth, fulfilling to the limitlessness which we are dealing with. So therefore, we must not be limited within some ordinary objective ways of mundane judgments and try to consider our very high class, super excellent spiritual world, divine world of love service, love relation with Krishna. No. Therefore it's always called transcendental, much beyond, transcending our limited ways of mundane concepts of our spiritual world. Yes. Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Okay, maybe we can stop now. Yeah, prasadam time. Gaur Hari Bol. Stop. Hari